sign Sagittarius tells us a lot about the nature of the human struggle. It's very much connected to the human kingdom, the fourth creative hierarchy, and describes a lot of that process of working out right activity and trying to bring together all of these myriad of forces in the human life to become active and practical in the achievement of a goal from the esoteric point of view. So we know that it is a mutable fire sign. It has a lot to do with activity. It is traditionally ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter points to the lofty optimism that can often be found in Sagittarius, generally a seeker of purpose and knowledge, and that is true on both levels of expression. Sometimes Sagittarians generally can be known as just knowing a lot of different things. That's Jupiter right there. It's a second ray planet of wisdom. They can be bringing together many ideas, somewhat similar to its opposite sign, Gemini, which has a bit more of the minute relationship between ideas and thoughts and relationship in general. Sagittarius, lofty ideas, the big questions, the big picture. We know that the bow and arrow is connected with Sagittarius, and so upon the mutable cross, the personality expression of Sagittarius, we see many pointing and aimings of the bow and arrow, but, and here is the major problem with Sagittarius on the mutable cross of personality expression, that we are moving from one idea to the next, and there isn't necessarily a refined, directed focus with those arrows in terms of what's the ultimate goal of all the activities and targets we're trying to hit with all those different arrows. So those arrows represent activity, the achievement of goals, and Sagittarians in that way can be very good at setting things into motion and completing an activity, but there may not be an overriding purpose, or there may not be a clear overall vision. And this is due to the fact that, and herein lies one of the reasons behind the fourth ray being connected with this sign, there is a blinding of the mental aspect in terms of its getting lost in animal instinct. The term karma manas is often used relative to this sign, which is the desire mind. And here's a hint as to why Mercury is in detriment in this sign from a personality and exoteric point of view. The reasoning faculty is actually not at its greatest, which is an interesting thing because, well, Jupiter rules it exoterically, and it's all about the pursuit of knowledge and, in many cases, and understanding. But what we're really seeing here is that there is no discernment between what is the nature of one's desire and why is one pursuing that, and is that really one's purpose? So we can see here an active person, but not a focused person. And so herein lies the problem of Sagittarius as it expresses as the centaur, which is, we're told, one of the originating images that comes to us from Atlantean times, whereas the expression for our present fifth root race in this iteration of human evolution is actually the horse rider. And so the evolution from centaur to the one who rides the horse is that we're separating out from identification with or blind enmeshment with the instinctual nature, the desire nature, the animal aspect of the human being, because a human being is part divine, intuitive, or has the capacity for that intuitive divine recognition. Yes, we've got that sense of perception which separates us out from the animal kingdom, and yet we are part animal. So they're the struggle of the fourth ray. Human beings are from the fourth kingdom in nature, that of harmony through conflict, the swinging from side to side with working out these opposites and what is our true nature and all of these questions. So Sagittarius on the fixed cross, we're starting to really ask what that purpose is. What is our purpose? And we're starting to wear down the pulls of all of the whippy inspirations and inflated lofty goals that come from the desire nature, from the solar plexus down, these movements. So once again, Mercury can be in detriment here exoterically for this reason, that the mental reasoning faculty actually isn't all that focused. It's not able to really pinpoint what are the origins of something, and does this really make sense to do this, and is this really practical overall in my life? Esoterically, the reason why Mercury is in detriment in this sign, or is lessened, is that when we are mounting the fixed cross, we've mounted the fixed cross, and the soul has properly taken dominion and is in the driver's seat of the personality. There is the horseman riding the horse in this case. The reasoning faculty, represented by Mercury, the lower mind, is subservient to the higher intuitional mind. Sagittarius, therefore, esoterically is a sign of intuition. And this intuition, spiritual intuition, comes with the connecting to the soul, having won the battle between the personality and the soul in Scorpio, which is esoterically ruled by Mars. And we're connecting to the soul now. We're able to see the mountaintop, because Capricorn is the next sign between Scorpio and Capricorn is Sagittarius. Once we've conquered the lower self and now we're in this process of being able to move with the purpose of the soul, then we're able to, at this point, we're connecting and being receptive to the intuitional mind. Or not the mind, but the mind, the lower mind is receptive to the intuitive faculties. And this is where we get a clear sense of the vision, of the purpose. We have conquered the lower self. We are now in this process of a different kind of struggle, where in Scorpio, as we shall explore soon, there is more the dying out, the painful dying out of the personality self. In Sagittarius, the struggle is about like the pull between the old ways of activity and that which the soul is trying to permeate the vehicle with. And when that has really come under, that synthesis has happened, where the soul is really taken control of the vehicle, the horseman once again, we're able to see quite clearly the vision, see the mountain. We get a sense of, oh yes, this is what I'm here to do now. Now our activity gets focused, and this is why Sagittarius upon the fixed cross is known as the one-pointed disciple, whereas before we had the scattered bows and arrows. Oh, this thing. Now we've got, I know exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly what I need to do to get there. We're governing our activity now under the soul. The mind is able to be subservient to the intuitive faculties and so be properly directed, whereas the exoteric Sagittarian, the mind is just ping-ponging, following the desire whims. Now the mind is focused, concrete, lower mind, mental processes, serving the soul, serving the intuitive function. We're seeing the goal and pursuing it with one-pointed focus. The keynotes, exoterically: let food be sought. The gaining of experience, the pursuit of desire, the chasing after the desires in that sense, the lower expression perhaps of Jupiter. This thing, bring it all unto myself. Let me learn. The esoteric keynote: I see the goal, I reach the goal, and then I see another. The careful plodding steps along the path to the mountain top, the initiation that happens in Capricorn. So we see an interesting connection here too with the other two signs, once again, of the mutable cross, where we have Pisces, Jupiter, Virgo, Mercury. In this polarity, we've got the enmeshment into environment, into feeling, the lower aspect of the empath and the psychic medium, and then we're developing discrimination in Virgo through that mercurial influence there, and starting to separate out a few things. What's this thing from that thing? Where am I in all this? A similar movement is made when we're talking about the integration of the polar opposite sign with Sagittarius, in this case Gemini, where we're integrating the mercurial aspect of pondering and reflection of duality, which has a lot to do with Gemini. Gemini is a sign of self-reflection when it starts moving towards the esoteric movement. In this direction, it is about the recognition of the two different selves, and then its esoteric ruler is Venus, and we've got a merging of the higher and lower self. So with Sagittarius, we've got this invitation here with Gemini to examine the relationship. Gemini is a sign of relationship. Mercury goes, oh, this thing and that thing. Huh, okay. And compare and contrast. There's the mercurial aspect. So for Sagittarius upon the mutable cross, in that personality expression, the working with that aspect of Mercury and integrating the Gemini theme of working out relationship, of understanding how two things come together is important, because this helps the Sagittarian go, actually, start discriminating. Where am I in this? Is this actually me? And is there another part that's trying to come through? And where am I being blind to that, etc.? So different qualities, but a very similar movement of cultivation of mind and discrimination from with Pisces, Virgo, and Sagittarius, Gemini there. There are 3 rays that express through Sagittarius. 4th ray, as I hinted at before, and there is the struggle between that instinctual aspect, the movement here. We've got the 5th ray, okay, so the concrete science, hinted in Venus rules this, right? So we've got one of the higher luminaries, so that the development of the focus aspect and the knowing, actually, I know who I am now, I am the soul, and these are the goals of the soul, and I'm going to get very concrete and focused of that. And then we've got the 6th ray, and this in the sign Sagittarius points to that of devotion, and that comes with that single pointed focus. It's the reorientation of the animal nature to the aspiration, the devotion, and the longing to achieve the goals of the soul. So those are the 3 signs in Sagittarius there. And there's a lot of rays that express through this sign when we consider it with the planetary rulers, because we have Jupiter in the 2nd ray there, and the esoteric planetary ruler, which is the Earth, the 3rd ray sign. And this here hints as to the practical nature of Sagittarius in terms of its ability to see a goal and achieve it, because this creates activity on Earth, upon the physical plane. Of course, we're in an animal body. This is why we ride the horse. So, and that influence here of the 6th ray too, with the reorienting of the animal body. Now the horse is, we're not running wild with the horse, but we've developed this relationship with the horse. We've tamed the horse, and we've got a beautiful dynamic relationship there with the animal body. So the 6th ray in that aspect there. So Earth, esoteric planetary ruler, and we get things done here. It's the sign of planetary fire in terms of the 3 fire signs. It's active, it's movement, it gets things happening, it moves with the spiritual will, and it takes us to the base of the mountain in Capricorn. So the big challenge for the Sagittarian is to evolve out of the container of wisdom with its Jupiterian aspect there, which is this blind absorption of all this experience and knowledge, and actually prove themselves worthy and practical and humble and focused through having worked and developed that relationship with the soul, having conquered the domination of the lower desire nature in Scorpio, and starting to become concentrated and focused, and to tame that animal nature and to have it work within the desires and the cosmic desire, really, of the soul in this instance. Sagittarians can sometimes have that inflated quality of egocentricity, which we can see in a certain way exoterically with all the fire signs. And in the Sagittarian expression, it shows up as that, yes, the lofty ideals that might not necessarily be practical, but also through that, oh, I know all of these things. I've had all these experiences, which is true for the Sagittarian in most cases. And yet still there hasn't been that humbling and the concentration of working out who you really are and what is the true centering factor of the life, the movement to the fixed cross and the anchoring into the soul. And so you're just really this container, I'm using Oken's word here, but this bucket of all these experiences and ideas, but not really the grounded capacity to apply focus, direction, and will, which comes through that earth influence where it starts to become real, and now there is a purpose behind the experience, the wisdom, and all of that which has been absorbed upon the mutable cross with all of the immersion with the myriad of experiences that the Sagittarian is driven into via the animal nature. One of the beautiful things about Sagittarius is its capacity to achieve the goal. And all disciples will necessarily approach the Sagittarian problem having gone through the battle in Scorpio and starting to actually wrestle with the need to practically anchor the desire of the soul, the purpose of the soul in the living life. And so we will all pass through that Sagittarian problem in that sense. But, you know, as always, sun, moon, and rising in terms of the most poignant exemplification of this Sagittarian problem. Or you can also look at wherever the Sagittarius falls in the chart and have a consideration of how these themes that we've discussed today might be playing out in that particular area of life, where there is a need to scrutinize a little bit between the lower desire nature and where is the purpose of the life, the soul's life, trying to manifest itself practically and orient itself towards the practical achievement of one goal and the next goal and the next goal until we come to the mountaintop.